What would you do if someone talked to one of your loved ones the way you talk to yourself in your head? Today I want to talk about how one intentional choice can completely change your life. And it starts with that quote. I was sitting in a seminar put on by a clinic manager of a program I was in when I was first in treatment. And there's literally a line of demarcation in my life about everything that happened before I heard that phrase and everything that has occurred since. Because what I learned that day is our thoughts aren't facts. That the stuff that goes around in our head might not necessarily be true. And that my head was filled with negative internal dialogues. So the next day I'm driving to class, and I had this old Dodge Ram 1500 that had a squeaky front axle, and I hit a pothole and my truck squeaked. And someone walking on the curb or walking on the sidewalk looked at me. I don't even know if they were looking at me, but it felt like they were. And all of a sudden I went from having a pretty good day to this massive shame spiral because my truck squeaked, and I felt like the worst person on the planet in about 2.5 seconds. And Quincy Fisher's words from the day before popped into my head. What would you do if someone talked to your loved ones the way you talk to yourself in your head? And so in that moment, I decided to not take that anymore. That voice, that dialogue in my head was not true, and I was going to start fighting back. And that was the beginning of me defeating my negative internal dialogue, something that had followed me along through my life, that I was the worst human being on the planet. And it might not have been true, but it certainly felt true. But after that day, I started recognizing when I would get in those shame spirals, those thought spirals, those ruminations about how horrible I was. And once I became aware, I began challenging those assertions. I began fighting back. It's a technique in my book called the Ali technique, aggressive language interruption. I don't need to go on into it here, but actually if you want a free copy of the book, if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, you can just comment book and I'll send you a link for the free book, or you can go to rebuildstronger.com and it's right there. You can see where you can download it for free. But those actions, that intentional choice to defy those thoughts, completely changed my life and eliminated that black cloud that was following me every day.